Welcome back. Showdown in Atlanta tonight. President Trump and President Biden will face off at tonight's CNN presidential debate. A new leisure poll finds expectations are high for Trump. 42% expect the former president to win tonight's debate. 29% say that President Biden will win tonight's debate. A recent Fox News poll finds 3 in 10 voters say debate performance will be extremely important to their vote for president. We'll all be watching. Joining me now is the Republican National Committee Chairman Michael Whatley. Michael, it's great to see you. Welcome back to the program.
It's always good to be with you, Maria.
Let's start on the debate. What are your expectations tonight? What are you going to be watching closely for?
I'm watching to see that President Trump is going to lay out his vision for the next 4 years of America and really talk about a contrast between his record, his 4 years in office, and Joe Biden's 4 years in office, and really draw a line right down the differences between the successes that we had with President Trump and the failures that we've seen under Joe Biden.
Yeah, I mean, Maganomics versus Bidenomics is certainly expected to be a big issue at the debate tonight. And a new CBS report cites a group of Nobel Prize-winning economists who are claiming that Trump's economic plans could reignite inflation. No mention in the story that the last 4 years has reignited inflation because of Biden's policies. They're also claiming that Trump's deportation plans could shrink the labor force, creating more competition for U.S. workers and push up wages, all adding to inflationary pressure. Again, no mention here of the fact that under Joe Biden, wages have gone down. We had many of the same warnings in 2016 before Trump took office, Michael.
Yeah, inflation was 1.4% the day that Joe Biden took over. It went up to 9%, and now they're trying to brag about it being 3%. Inflation never got above 2% when Donald Trump was in office. So the inflation bugaboo that they're trying to put out there right now just does not square with the facts. The fact is that American workers were better off under President Trump. Real wages went up, and under Joe Biden, real wages have gone down, and it really, truly has hurt every American family.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you said at the beginning of this interview, I'm looking forward to hearing what Trump has to say about the next 4 years, because I would imagine that's really what people want. Rather than, looking backwards, they want to know, what are your plans? Biden gave us a glimpse of his plans. He's got a $7.3 trillion budget for 2025, and it includes $5.5 trillion of new taxes and higher taxes. So he gave us that. We'll see what else he has in mind. Is this what you're hearing from donors? You've had a very successful fundraising period here. Assess that fundraising period for us and tell us what the big donors want to hear tonight.
Well, look, I think that the donations that have come in from across the country is really another version of a poll. There is enthusiasm behind Donald Trump, and we're seeing it in real polls. We're seeing it in the donations. We're seeing it in the crowds that show up for him all across the country. Every time we show up at a swing state like Pennsylvania or Michigan or Wisconsin, we're getting absolutely fantastic crowds, fantastic enthusiasm. The donations, we've broken the record in donations for the campaign and the RNC in March, in April, and in May. And we are continuing to see the support that is coming in for the president every single day. And it really just goes to show you that America is ready for a change, and they're ready for a change at every level.
And you've had a particularly successful time after the president's conviction, right?
Yeah, I mean, we raised $141 million between the RNC and the Trump campaign in May alone. But the thing that's amazing about that is it was 2 million individual donors, a $70 average for each of those donations. So this is not just mega donors. Even if the president were only to focus on that, we would have great numbers. But the fact is that we are seeing everyday Americans who are outraged by the sham trial that we saw up in New York. The president was raising $1 million a day in small dollar online donations every day that he was in court, because the American people saw that this was not a legit trial. These were not legit charges, and they were outraged by it. And during the course of that trial, we outraised Joe Biden, and we went up in the polls. So I think that the lawfare The weaponization of the judicial system that we've seen by Joe Biden and his allies across the country has not worked. It has backfired. And we're very ready for this debate because it's going to be an opportunity for President Trump to go out there, talk for 40, 45 minutes, and lay out his vision for the next 4 years. And that really is what this debate is about.
Well, I want to ask you about the RNC in a second, because here we are 2 weeks away. But first, let me play this soundbite from Claudia Tenney, New York Congressman, because I know your other priority, in addition to fundraising, is also ensuring that we have a fair and transparent election in November. And we've been talking about these illegals coming into the country, 2 million gotaways. Lots of conversations among Republicans of that, you know, the reason that we have this open border is because the Democrats want illegals to vote, which, as you know, is illegal. Here's Claudia Tenney with me the other day. Watch this.
Susan Rice, former President Obama's key advisor, is heading up the operation of tasking our federal agencies to actually get votes from illegal immigrants, get those ballots in the box. And once they're cast, we can't go back and determine if that ballot was an illegal immigrant or not. And I wouldn't be surprised, Maria, and this is not a conspiracy theory, it is actually out there in a memo from Susan Rice. I would not be surprised if somehow these millions of illegal immigrants somehow are casting votes in the swing states to make sure that Joe Biden wins this election, because we know that President Trump is winning on policy.
Okay, Michael, it's all on you now. You're the chairman of the RNC. How are you going to ensure illegals are not voting in this presidential election, Michael?
Well, as you said, it is illegal in every single state for a non-citizen to vote. And we need to make sure that the states are going to enforce this law. So we are working right now with states all across the country to make sure that they are aware. We're also talking to folks all across the country on the Republican side to go out and sign up. President Trump has made it clear we have launched an initiative to recruit 100,000 volunteers to serve as poll observers and poll workers all across the country. We've launched a website, protectthevote.com, where we are recruiting right now thousands upon thousands of patriots all across the country who are going to help us make sure that we have eyes and ears on the polling locations. And we're working with states all across the country to tell them, you know that it is illegal for these people to vote. Do not let them vote.
So do you have confidence? Can you say to our viewers right now, you have confidence that this will be a fair election?
Look, we need it to be a fair election. What happened in 2020 cannot happen again. And what we need to do is make sure that we are in the room when votes are being cast, votes are being counted. And we also need to make sure that we have the right rules of the road in place, which is why we're working with legislatures, we're working with governors, we're working with boards of elections all across the country. And look, there are areas where they do not want to get these basic protections in place. We're filing lawsuits. We filed 92 lawsuits in 25 states already to make sure that we're going to have fair, accurate, secure, and transparent elections.
Michael, we got to jump, but real quick, the RNC is 2 weeks away. This is your big event, right? What can you tell us in terms of expectations? We will be there live.
We are
with
so
the show
excited.
live every day.
We have
50,000
delegates, guests, and alternates that are going to be coming into Milwaukee. The build out right now is going extremely well. All of the planning looks very good, and it's going to be an absolutely amazing opportunity for President Trump to go out before the country and the entire world and lay out his vision for the next 4 years and how he's going to make America great again.
Do you think that that President Trump will announce his VP pick on Thursday night or at the beginning of the RNC, Monday?
I feel very comfortable that he's going to do it sometime between today and July 15th, Maria.
Ooh, today and the beginning of the convention. Okay, all right. So we got a hot 2 weeks that we're going to be reporting on. Michael, good to see you, sir. Thank you.